What up, friends? I am Geoff Fienberg back here on the drive at oddschecker.com/US talking more PGA Tour action. And let me ask you a question. Does this look like the face of a man who's just spent the last week at the Magic Kingdom with his angel princesses of daughters? Or does this look like a man who had another T2 on the golf circuit with Detry and lost a $8,000 return payout 7-game NFL parlay on that Carolina Panther Hail Mary? Or a man whose luggage is still in Orlando and Air Canada never put on the airplane? Or a man who actually just recorded a video and forgot to turn his mic on? Take your pick, friends. All that aside, I had a great week away with my girls. What a magical trip. Expensive as hell. Thank you, Cam Smith, for that open win. Help support it. But you know, people call it once in a lifetime. I don't know. I don't know how I won't be back there with my girls in a couple years. Truly had a great time. If you saw my Twitter at GFienberg17, we did post the pics. You didn't miss anything. It was a Detry T2. Unless you're one of those smart people who plays Detry with the each ways, which I never seem to do, and I can't quit the guy. And you know we're going to be talking about him in a few minutes from now. We are at Camaleon Golf Club. We're very familiar with it. Victor's won here 2 years in a row. We had Victor. We called that Victor by a field goal on the Odds Checker video channel a couple of years ago. Still one of my favorite golf calls ever. Vic by a field goal. And that went down. That went down. Par 71, 7,100 yards. It's an easy course. And it's one of those courses where we're all, I say we like I'm holding an iron. No, I'm sitting on my couch. It's one of those courses where everybody's sort of playing that second shot from the exact same spot. And you look at the past winners, and that shouldn't surprise anybody. Obviously, we got Victor with the back-to-backs going for the three-peat. Brendan Todd, Matt Kuchar, Brian Gay, Patton Kizzire, G-Mac, Charlie Hoffman. There's a pattern here. Good, great second shot players playing from the fairway. You better play from the fairway. You can find trouble. If you're one of those guys going to be tracking on the PGA app, get ready for a lot of native area. The problem is native area here can also mean jungle. Like you're just gone. Sometimes there is no rough. It's just fairway straight into jungle. Hasta la vista, baby. So there can be huge numbers if you're missing your spots. But if you are in the fairway, there will be opportunities to score, and score some more. So let's pay attention to that. And I didn't list that, those list of past winners, not exactly the greatest bunch in the world per se, but this field also feels stronger because we got Scheffler here at 10-1. We've got Billy Horschel here at 18. I mentioned Victor on the 11 looking for the three-peat, and Morikawa Finau coming in under 20-1. I don't remember a Mayakoba who had this sort of front end power, which obviously would have opened the door for some of those names that we mentioned in behind. Also, we should note, Vic, you better catch that three-peat because this is it, pal. This is it. El Camaleon is out of the rotation. Why, you ask? Well, I don't know if you've heard, there's this guy, Greg Norman, and he's been ruffling a lot of feathers, and he actually designed this place. And guess what? They're hosting a live event next year. So this is it for the PGA Tour and this place. And even if live goes under, which I'm not really expecting to do, I don't really care to have that debate here, but let's just say in 3-4 years, live no longer exists. 5 years, I think the PGA Tour is going to go back to these guys? Probably not. So this will be it for this golf course. So Vic, go catch your three-peat. Looking at that board as we continue, Aaron Wise at 20, Mav McNeely at 28. That McNeely won 28 over at BetMGM. There's an 18 over at DraftKings. So you're going to bet on Mav. Make sure you catch that top number. Aaron Wise obviously feels incredibly popular this week. And when staring at the field last night, he was a guy that caught my attention instantly. Disappointing to see him coming around 20-1 when you could bet Morikawa or, Finau at 18, or even Billy Horschel, to be perfectly honest. Would probably get my money if I did go up there before Wise, although I do expect Wise to have a great week. I'll regret it when he wins, but now we've hit my pocket of players that I'm quite interested in. Taylor Montgomery, 28-1. 28-1 over at BetMGM. I have made that bet. There are 25s out there. I hope I don't make it a habit of betting these short price Taylor Montgomery odds. But these Korn Ferry grads, well, when you graduate from the Korn Ferry, you essentially have a master's in resort courses, because 85 of the courses they play are these types of resort courses where it's go low and keep going lower. And if you've gone lower, it's probably not low enough. They're hyper familiar with these sort of circumstances. That's not to say your elite players at the top wouldn't know how to dismantle a resort course. I have no doubts they do that, even in their free time, if not tournament play. But something about this track and Taylor Montgomery speaks to me. Behind that, Tom Hoge, short second shot course. This is the Hoge wheelhouse, 30-1 available for Hoge over at DraftKings, coming in as low as 25-1. And Emiliano Grillo, it's a bet I've made, 40-1 over at BetMGM, as low as 28-1 over at DraftKings. This course just screams like it will work for Grillo. And how could you not? The stats on Grillo, we've been talking about it on this video for weeks, for months, despite only having picked him once. That's not a fail. I mean, it's not like we missed a win, and probably only picked him once in the last 2.5 years before that. I am all in on Grillo right now. And I'll say that by following it up with, if he doesn't win this week, I might get back at Houston or the RSM as we close out this 2022 season. The stats for months have been phenomenal. The results have been consistent and outstanding despite not finding winner's circle. Second at John Deere, second at Minnesota, fifth in Jackson, Mississippi. What do we got? Fourth at the Zozo. These are all too familiar because every week we talk about them. Well, now I'm actually ready to make that move. I have bet on Grillo this week, 40-1 over at BetMGM, using that odds checker grid. Let's get that 40 and not those 28s on the market. Brendan Todd is one here. He comes in at 45-1. Seems like a more than fair number for his prowess and his ability here. That 7 under Sunday got him the win in the middle of his unconsciously hot fall stretch a couple years ago. As we cross 50, I'm staring at Seamus Power. It's not a bet I'm going to make, but it seems like a really great, really strong value for Seamus, especially off a win. But you know me, I go right to that 55-1 over at Bet365, enhanced win only. Thomas Detry, I can't quit you, my European Finau. What does that mean, European Finau? Well, he contends, and it doesn't matter the field strength. He could be in the most elite events, and he'll contend. He can be in the most jabroni, pathetic fields, and he'll contend. But he won't win. Now, European Finau, with the caveat, Finau actually finally started, winning golf tournaments, and we love that because we love Tony Finau, but he's also a bit of a late bloomer. You would probably think, just based on how long you've known of Thomas Detry, that he is in his mid-20s, 24, 25, 26. No, he's actually about 4 or 5 years older than that, a bit of a late bloomer for many in the golf scene, especially how things have sort of been working these days. But I can't quit him. I'm not overanalyzing the paspalum here. This is just a blind. I can't quit you. This feels strong. You're in form. Feels like you're always in form. And I'm going to keep betting. As we go farther, it does seem like there can and historically been some really good opportunities. We've mentioned those past list of winners here. But, there is a level of talent at the top that I feel isn't historically making the trip to Mexico for the Mayakoba. That makes me wonder, how much more alive these guys can be. All that being said, I think Aaron Rai at 80-1 over at DraftKings can make a lot of sense. He comes in as low as 60-1, so make sure you could shop that number. Coastal Wind, Russell Henley, a 60-1 is a guy that I could be swimming around. Seems like a really fair number for his skill set on this golf course. And even going farther, Patrick Rogers. This is why we love the grid. This is why we use the grid. 80-1 at DraftKings for P-Raj. And he comes in. Wow, I'm not P-Raj. Yeah, I'll never say that again. Okay? Promise. Patrick Rogers, 80-1 at DraftKings. There are 50s at looking at the grid, and I'm even seeing 45 show up. I don't need to name those 45, the books with the 45s by name, but they're out there and they're on the grid. You see it for yourself. So if you've got any inclination on Patrick Rogers this week, and a lot of people loved them last, maybe you go find that 80. Guys like Chris Kirk, Russell Knox sitting at 100 could be very sneaky. I had my eye on Justin Rose, friends. I know a lot of you think I'm a Rose hater. I saw he withdrew. So, geez. As much as I can make my low-hanging fruit jokes on the Justin Rose social media persona, I was really hoping to see Rose get healthy, start, showing signs of being that player. On that note, it's not a bet for me, but we have been seeing real life from Jason Day. That has finally started to happen again. I know it's been a while, but it does warm my soul when we see guys like Day and Ricky Fowler starting to put up respectable results. Somewhat, I don't want to say consistently, because that you might put some long-term metrics into that, but just, guys that they're not Tiger Woods, but if you're around, started becoming a avid golf bettor around the same time I did, these are just guys that I'll always have a soft spot for. So Jason Day, great to see him playing again. If you are interested in Day, there are 50s out there at DraftKings. It is the best number on the market, because seeing on the grid, there are 40s across town. That is it for me. I have bet Griot. I'm going to bet Montgomery, and I'm probably going to bet Hoagie, and I've bet Detry. So there are 4 bets you could probably count on me posting this week for oddschecker.com. And I'm still tempted. Maybe I do go up to the top. Victor seems low. Three-peats seem unrealistic, but it is that Finau Billy Horschel range that maybe I do pull a trigger on. I am Geoff Fienberg. We will be back next week. Only 2 more events in the to wrap around, whatever they want to call it. But in this, I think, before we go on a bit of a hiatus. So I'm looking forward to it. And if Griot don't win this week, I'm going to be back next week in Houston, and we're going to follow that up at the RSM, friends. Just warning you, get it now. Griot 40-1. Finally, hold the trophy, pal. It's been a long time since that Safeway about 8 years ago. For Geoff Fienberg, for Odds Checker, smash that like, subscribe to the channel so these drop weekly. I am out.